Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Metal State Conquest Call of Duty Season 1. My name is CptTrout. I am joined by none other than the man, the myth, the legend, Del Rey or Dellas. How are you feeling today?
Absolutely brilliant. It's another final. And what better final to have two powerhouses going against each other?
I mean, powerhouses is a light term for these two teams. I mean, ever since the LAN and obviously the falling away of Vibin, these have been the teams that everyone's had their eyes on, right? This has been the culmination of I'd say months' work in the making. So it's excellent to see how far we've gotten, considering how many new tournaments we've had here for the community, and especially Metal State stepping up and hosting 10,000 rands worth of prizes here. So thank you very much for them having us. And of course, there are no sponsors, so this is out of the goodness of their heart. So we cannot stress enough how much we appreciate that. Hello, Dalray. Hello. Okay, it looks like it is myself for now. Dalray should be joining momentarily as soon as everything is back. Anyways, we'll have a quick chat about the game that is up for grabs. We alluded to two powerhouses. It's going to be DAO multiplayer versus Aerial Gaming. So it is going to be excellent, except I will say that Aerial is currently playing with a pickup. They, as opposed to Trip 9, Josh, they got Caden Heroes in his place, playing a 1-for-1 role swap. And on the side of DAO, it is their powerhouse roster. It is the dream team, if you will. We've got Rahil, Lithium, Frosty, and Rob Cobb. So, I mean, in terms of, I would say, the most winningest players in South Africa, those are definitely the guys who are going to be seeing. We did have the maps, but Del Rey was the one with that information. So I believe we're going to be starting things off on Alpagro, but I could be wrong. I know that there is going to be an embassy S&D and a fortress control. From there, we'll have to work it out and see how it goes. But either way, it is going to be an excellent day of Call of Duty. Yeah, so I'll have to look at the chat, I suppose, until Del Rey is back to see what everyone is feeling. If the production team could tell me how long our delay is. Okay, no problem. A 2-minute delay on the stream, so it's going to be a bit difficult to talk to chat. Anyway, yeah, some predictions going into it. Del Rey and I were speaking about it. It's going to be very close to contest. We're trying to work out the time frame as to how long it's going to be with breaks and things like that. But we budgeted a good 2.5, 2 hours for this game, so I suppose everyone's expecting a game 5, and it'd be injustice. And I think where we're going to have to be seeing these two teams really go head to head is going to be in the S&Ds, right? Because S&Ds when you control S&Ds when you series, because you've got to close it off on S&D. So whoever starts off on Embassy, the first S&D, well, it's going to probably be the team that I would see. So we'll just have to wait and see how things happen and how they unfold. Some other talking points here are we can talk about how we got to this point. The bracket, looking at the playoffs here, there was the top 8 teams were Monarch, Scare, Dow, Highborn, Aerial, Manuel Maria Barbosa Dubocage, damn, what a good one, Nixa and Eclipse. And obviously everything worked its way down to this final. And before this game, it was the playing for third place, which was going to be Eclipse Gaming versus Monarch Realm. And it looks like Eclipse closed that out in a 3-0 fashion, which is, I wouldn't say an upset, but I think that would have taken everyone by surprise in the sense of a 3-0. So it was definitely going to be a close game, but a 3-0. So kudos to Eclipse Gaming. They came out on top this morning and secured themselves third place for this tournament. So, I mean, it doesn't get much better than that, I suppose. We have some top tier quality up for grabs here. Yeah, so he already had a power trip, if anyone was wondering. And yeah, I've run out of talking points. I need my co-caster. Let's see. What is chat prediction when we have the 2-minute delay? Further along, we can go into detail about potentially the future of the Conquest series. I had a chat with one of the production team members, and one thing I said that the scene desperately needed. It's awesome that we have these big tournaments that come and go. What we needed is someone to come on and bring us consistent tournaments and just something that we can look forward to, maybe not necessarily right now, but maybe in the future, some lands, things like that. We only had one land in the past, what was it, 4 years, was last year at the end there at Rage. So if we can look forward to more of those type of events, that would be absolutely fantastic. But speaking to the man, he did say that the aim of Conquest is to be consistent. That this is not going to be a once-off thing. That is why it is season one. We have the combination of the first I call it innings, if you will, where this is the trial period. And the fact that we had 38 teams sign up, I mean, I don't think you can get more of a positive start. People were obviously keen for this kind of thing. And that just shows that the community is ready for this type of or this style of tournament. And the feedback that we've gotten from Middle State is that the start was so good, they're looking at continuing it. And then maybe in future, if bigger sponsors and things get involved, we could be looking at massive, massive tournaments and lands and everything along those lines. But of course, this is all just speculation on my part. We'll just have to wait and see. But I can say confidently that this is still just season one, and that is how we know that there'll be at least one or two more games. Yeah, still waiting for Del Rey. Do we have an ETA on the game by chance? 4 minutes on the game. Okay, let's see what the chat is here. Talk about maps. Map one. I have to look here. Let's have a look. Map number one. We have the full veto list here. Okay, we have Bugra. I was right. So we got Bugra, Embassy, Asilio, Zarqua, Asilo again. I believe that is the co-cast that has just arrived. Del Rey, save me.
I'm here.
All right, let's have a
This
quick
is
chat about the
unfortunate.
maps.
Yeah, I have them here in front of me, as you mentioned, I think. Bagra HP, then followed by an Embassy S&D, and then followed up with a Silo Control. Now, just looking at the first three, we had a little chat just before we went live about who wins the veto system or the veto, which side does it flop. And for me, I'm etching this a bit to Ariel. I know the embassy, like, that was absolutely insane on a search and destroy on an embassy, so I was surprised that one came through. And then it all comes down to me on that first map. Now, you can take so much momentum coming from that first map, so we'll see what happens.
I couldn't agree more. And while you were having platform issues, I said that the turning point in the series is probably going to be that game to S&D because I said S&D is so crucial for these best of fives because that's what you close it out on. And if we do run the distance, whoever won the first S&D is most likely going to win the second. So if Ariel can sort of dethrone Dow on their map of Embassy, then I think that is putting them in a really good stead going forwards into the series. But I saw an excellent question in chat there. Um, who have we got for MVPs? For me personally, I like to look at the players that are the workhorses of the team. And for me, on the side of Ariel, it's got to be Richie. Man. Richie, he doesn't put up the numbers that the rest of his team does. I mean, I was watching him, I was casting over him the other day, and I think he went something like 12 for 15 on a
Yeah,
hydro, but they had the spawns every rotation. And the crucial kills of winning their ones in the back and maybe picking up scrap
yeah.
time or going first on the rotation, he's the one to win those fights. So for me, MVP wise, if we're not looking at stats, if we're looking at critical roles, it's got to be Richie on the side of Ariel for me. And on the side
Yeah,
of Dow, it's so hard. It's a team of superstars, right? And they've got so much talent on there. I mean, this being Lithium's last tournament, if you will, before he did say that he's going to be retiring. I mean, this is where they're going to be. I'd say he's going to try and shine, right? He's going to come out blazing hot to prove that he's going to go off on a burner, if that makes sense.
yeah. No, I definitely hear you what you had to say about both teams. For me, with Ariel and seeing now that Euros is picking up for Josh for Trip 9 away on he thinks he's smart, so he's out on a chess championship. So he's playing there, and he was, second played second best fiddle to Max at the land. Talking about the land championship held in December, and Trip 9 was up there for MVP. I think if Ariel won that land, he'd probably be getting that MVP status. But looking at this now and that he's not playing, I do agree with you that Richie is a very vital player in this team. But I'm looking at someone different, and I'm looking at Bevs. He's the one player that sometimes, he has a great start and it falls down, or he has a very bad start, but he picks it up. I'm looking for a consistent game from him. I think if we have if we have a really consistent game from him, this game's going to be really close, and they might just take it. But and on the other side, it, like I mentioned just before, this is four of the most winningest COD players in South Africa that's teaming together. That is Rob, Lithium, Raz, and Frosty. So any four of those can literally pop off. So
Take over a
I'm
map. Yeah,
gonna,
absolutely.
yeah, I'm gonna give it to Lithium just because it's gonna be his last tournament before he retires, or that might be the case, or he comes back. You never know. But I'm looking at him. He's always been that guy for Dow this whole season. He's gonna be that same guy today. We'll have to wait and see.
I mean, yeah, there's been a like Lithium's had the lime. Just an update from the production team. We're waiting on two players before we get into this game. But speaking about Lithium specifically, he's had the limelight for so long, and I feel it might be wrong to take it off of him. Like since halfway through Vanguard, everyone just says that he just went to a different level, and I couldn't agree more, man. He's that player that you would often look at him between him and Rob when they were both on SMGs. It's just scary what they could do. If it's not a bow cage where Rob's 50, it's Lithium or
Yeah,
anything along those lines. So I think that here with the SMGs being in such a weird place, I don't know. In my opinion, if I pick up an SMG, I can only do okay on Embassy, but every other map I get fired on. But then whenever I'm playing, it seems like I'm in a Vaznev world and I'm just living in it with my tack. But I, it's so hard to tell because when when the Vaznev is in a player's hands like Lithium or Rob, it feels like it could be an AR. But they're just winning these insane gunfights and like they can just pick over the map. And I don't know. I suppose that is that X factor that Dow has on top of the fact that they have got so much veteranship.
yeah. The thing is, if you're looking at both sides, one team can afford to make mistakes, and the other team can't afford to make mistakes at all. And you can obviously take that guess who's is which. But yeah, man, Dow, like I said, someone has an off game, they've got three veterans that's just going to pick it up. With Ariel, with a pickup, one that is very difficult to come in with a pickup without any practice and going into, one of the toughest matchups you'll find in South Africa at the moment.
I'd say
But,
toughest, not one
well,
of
and,
the.
yeah, it was the toughest. And just to, put it out there, Euros that is picking up for Ariel is no slouch at all. He's won the past three medal state tournaments. So this is for a quadruple win for him if he can take this medal state.
Okay, excellent news, everybody. We'll be loading into the game one, which of course is going to be Fortress. But yeah, like you said, couldn't agree more. The fact that a 1-for-1 trade for Heroes is excellent because Heroes is a top tier caliber or top
Yeah.
caliber player, and we've known no one's ever said anything different. But yeah, here we go. Game number one,
Dylan, I
Fortress.
know you want to be on my team, bro.
We can already hear them speaking in game, ready for some action. And we can see on board you with Rusty. Oh,
Oh, it appears we're going to have a bit of a reset here, but we
Yeah.
can go back to what we were saying. Can you remember? I lost my train of thought. We were talking about heroes in the trade for the 1-for-1. Typically, you think of Caden as an AR player, right? And Trip 9 is a scary movement SMG player,
Yeah.
S&D brain that is giant. And because it's a 1-for-1, that means Heroes has to pick up the sub. And I've seen him do crazy things with the sub, but he is playing a little bit out of role. Okay, looks like we're in. Have we started?
Yeah, it looks like
Okay.
we've started. We're just looking for the scoreboard to pop up on our side. I think it's pressed down on the D-pad. Is it team kills that came in there from either side? I don't know.
Oh,
if
we're
this-
currently in Spectator. We're not in Codcaster.
Oh yeah, that is the case. Yeah, they can end the game. They're shooting each other in anyway. Yeah, I think this is going to be a restart on both teams' side as some kills do, team kills going down, and we're not on podcast at the moment. But yeah, but that's okay. That's okay. It happens, and we'll get this lobby restarted. But Connor, another thing I want to bring up, and just looking at this bracket play, one team stands out to me, and it's not one of these teams that's in the final because you basically could have predicted these these two teams in the final here. But Eclipse Gaming, making it all the way through group play, coming into playoffs, and then placing third. And I'm just going to read you their stats there. And they start off this playoffs, with a shocker, beating Nixa 2-0.
Indeed. So, okay, everyone, we're having a quick reset. All right, we're back. Okay, like
Yep.
you're saying, I'm
Yeah.
having a look at the bracket as well. And I did mention before that they placed third and they beat Monarch in a 3-0. But like you said, they came in 2-0 Nixa, and then they forfeit to Aerial because of load shedding issues, of course, and then they 3-0 Monarch. So, in terms of a team that I'd say sort of flew under the radar coming into this, they've really stood up for themselves.
Yeah, they have, and it's definitely something to be proud of. Especially the talk of the town is this Whimsy character. The one guy playing for Eclipse is basically putting up the numbers that Lithium and them around the scene is putting up. So, he's one player that to look out for. And Eclipse, making it all the way to third place is definitely a shocker, I could say, but a good shock as the scene is getting stronger from below, and more competition is always a good thing.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. We need the CDL level competition, right? Where there isn't one team that can topple the rest. It should be as closely contested as it was going into the LAN. I remember going into the LAN last year. No one really knew who was going to take it confidently. It could have been 3 or 4 teams,
Exactly.
and then I don't know. Personally, I think that's exactly what it should be. But since the LAN, obviously with Viben dissolving,
Yeah.
it really has just been Aerial and Dow. Those have been the 2 teams that everyone talks about. And the fact that Aerial made the run, not Aerial, Eclipse made the run, placing third, they very much could be the next team on the horizon. And you love to see the unheard of talent. I like to say unheard of talent. Maybe that's the wrong term, but someone coming in, putting up the numbers, which just proves there is potential for everyone to do well in the scene. You just need to get into it, right? I mean, I'm sure there's people out there that are absolutely insane at the video game, but they just don't even know that South African competitive publicity exists. And it's so niche when you start off. You think that everyone sort of like is out to get you, but that's really not the case. You just need to stick it out and get in here. I mean, where would we be now if you and I had stopped casting and everything along those lines? I promise you it wouldn't be us talking behind the mic now. So
Exactly. Yeah. Just keep playing, get your team together, and enter these tournaments. I think we had how many teams did we get signed up for this ultimate tournament?
38.
38, and man, that is absolutely absurd number already. And if we can keep growing on that, it's gonna just grow from strength to strength. And as I've got this correctly, after the season, you're gonna get your top echelon of teams in their own side of the bracket, and your amateurs, you can call them, on your other side of the bracket. So the competition is definitely gonna be more steep every single match you play.
I have already alluded to the fact that this is only season 1, so Metal State has got us covered at least for the very near future. So, like you said, strength to strength, numbers are good. Let's throw a little bit of controversy. That's the word, controversy, into the mix here. Your thoughts on M&K being allowed to compete in the leagues?
Well, it's been a big talk on social media now that they talk about Mouse and Key, taking part in controller-based tournaments. And I basically have the thought of let them be. Let them play in the tournaments. I can bet you now, and it might bite me in the future when a Mouse and Key team actually wins a tournament. But I don't see them, beating players on controller, your top teams on controller, like the Aerial, like the Dow, like the Eclipse now, like the Monarch. I don't see them doing that. So, man, let them in. The more teams we have, the better. So,
Absolutely.
and if they give us a competition, then why not?
Well, here we are. Game number 1. We have the correct sides. We have everything together. It is awesome. And we can actually see what is going on. We're in Cardcaster. Number P1 starts off with a bit of a banger as trades on trades on trades, and 3 go down for the side of Dow, and into the point go Aerial.
Yeah, I can see, and the first person running straight to that hill is Hero, so you'll see him now playing that pickup role for Aerial. He's going to be majority of the time in the hill as Bev tries to cut them off in P3. You can see Rusty answers back with a kill of his own. this is going to be very back and forth at the moment, but Rusty, clearing things out, making sure they get that spawn for P2, and they effectively swap the spawn.
No, not the kind of start that you want from Aerial, as they've just been out-rotated here, and they managed to only get 9 seconds. Oh, excuse me, I have the teams backwards here. So it looks like on the rotation here, it is going to be the side of Dao picking up the second bit of time here on P2, and might just be able to chip away at the lead and even things up. That's exactly what's going to happen. And the kills are going their way, as Cobbs gets a nice little two-piece, but here comes Mage trying to break the point. He gets one taken out subsequently, and all down to to Bevan, but he can't get the kill, so first set of pushes completely held from Dao.
Yeah, I'm just looking for someone now from Aerial to play that ratty play, try and get in behind. As you can see, play number 5, that was Kovs just shutting them down from rails in bottom mid. You can see 1 and 4 spawning mid, so they already said we're going to chalk that up. We're going to give them that extra 25 points, uncontested. They're going to go for rotation and try shut them down, but Rusty has something to say yet again, shutting them down in top maps. Play number 4, man. He's the important one right now.
Well, this is going to be actually a make it or break it here for Aerial, as they managed to get the rotation, but they got bad spawns halfway through there. And here comes Raz trying to take out Rich in the back. Cobbs finding the kills to go down. That is not what you want to see from the side of Aerials. They were simply broken before they even started. And you know how difficult this hill is to break. From any angle. If you don't get that rotation in and you keep those spawns, this is where teams put 60 points on you every single time. And I believe that's 2 sets of streaks already in the works here for Dao.
Yeah, no, Dow looking extremely strong, and it is always so difficult if you can string along P2 and P3 after that. I'm telling you now, you're putting yourself in a very, very, very strong position to win this map already, and that's what Dow just did. They got the P2, and they rotated late for P3, but it doesn't matter because they broke immediately. It was Rich at the back waiting for some help, and unfortunately just didn't get it.
And onto the rotation we go, and that was a full 60, right? 100 to 18. You need to put in some work now if you're Aerial, if you want to make something happen. Here's Bevan pushing forwards, but he can't even get those kills. So 2 go down once more for Aerial Gaming. Rotation is in. And number 6, that's going to be Lithium. With Dead Silence popped, he's just trying to be so irritating. He's getting the first kill, so he might just be able to make it happen. He gets 2. It's just Bevan. That's not what you want to see. Bevan trades it out with a double of himself. But on the first bit of time, it is going to be Aerial finally answering back here as they find 3 kills. Rusty in the back, he might be able to set up the perfect pinch.
Yeah, perfect pinch, that's indeed. Doesn't have Dead Silence, so they might just hear him. Finds 2. Absolutely beams. There's another one in front of him. The smoke stops him, but that's nevertheless, as his team does get in. And I think Lithium spotted one jumping over, but player number 1, Bevs, has gotten in behind. They need to get them out as the scoreline is basically reading 100 points difference between these two teams.
Yeah, and then some. Finally, a breath of relief from the side of Aerials. They can break on in, but here comes Dow once more. Bevan looking for 3. Can't quite find it. Cobbs is there for the quick trade. And back into the point to go. Dow, 9 seconds. Rotation is in, and it has been won by Aerial. So not ideal start from them, but we are going to our last hill in the first set of rotations. And this is where you could see teams sort of trying to figure it out. Normally there's one team that trailed behind, and then they might be able to pick it up from the second set of rotations. But the way that Dow is currently shooting, man, it is going to be a mountain to climb. I mean, Rusty winning shots and winning fights like that at range with the SMG. Dylan finding 2 pieces left, right, and center. This has just been a complete Dow show from the start.
It has, and it's not going to stop anytime soon. I want to see if I can hear of the players. I'm just making that swap. I'm trying to get my chain of thought here. But if the observer can actually see if they can change the scoreboard for us, I think is it square or is it left on the deep? Is it square?
It is square.
Just so we can change the scorecard for us, so we can see what the kills department say from both teams. As I can tell you now, this team from Dow is just absolutely slaying at the moment. Frosty at the bottom right, you can see, is 15 and 6. He keeps on going as Richie does shut him down. But if there's something that needs to come from this Aerial team, is just teamwork. And you can see it's lacking at the moment.
I couldn't agree more. They're getting broken. They're not getting their setups as well as they need. And I suppose they're also struggling to get the players of Dow out of the power positions. I mean, Heroes is here picking up time, but his teammates are falling around him. And a TK from Bevan to take him out on the point. That is literally the worst possible play that could have happened there. Rotation is in. I thought the spawns had flipped, but it was a split spawn coming through. So P2 spawns have been secured for Aerial. With 31 seconds, they still need to fight for this. Otherwise, it's going to get further and further out of their reach.
It is indeed. And player number 5 is the big one, and that's Kovs. That actually beams there on Mage. And at least the spawn is kept for Aerial. And let's see if they can hold it this time as Lithium, again, he's sneaking through. He does get spotted. He goes back, tries the Chell. Unfortunately, it was weak. And looks like there's going to be a bang out from the front now for Dow.
Well, they got a good set of kills there from Aerial to get the setup initially. And on the pop, they'll be able to find a good amount of time as they only have one player picking it up. But Lithium, dead silence pop. Man, this guy, you should just change him to Flankium because he is just behind enemy lines every single time. Almost gets another, but Frosty finds the double himself. Lithium breaks on through, gets the child, can't quite kill Mage though. So Mage with a double, holding strong for his team, and that's exactly what you needed. And the first 20 seconds go the way of Aerial here, uncontested. So what we can see here is an actual good hold, and no one from the side of Dow can get close, and I suppose it might be a little bit too little too late, but for now, that is a perfect kill from the side of Aerial. And here we go, rotation coming through as well. Spawns might just be one here by Frosty, but he finds the double all four go down. They break all, get the spawns. Oh, playing some perfect HP of themselves.
That was so important, and Frosty, being that guy yet again, clutch man, does not lose his gunfight. 22 and 12, currently on a 3 streak. All the players from Aerial running through that door, finds 2 yet again, and Dow can thank Frosty for that rotation and the hold for that case, as he sets them up to take them even further away and possible match point.
I mean, they can win here, absolutely. So this has to be a perfect break from the side of Aerial. And they're pushing 2-2 split here, trying to come in through the bottom arch, but they're being hit by every bit of utility under the sun. And the players all go down, another 4, so 30 seconds. Realistically, there's going to be one more challenge here. And you can see the side of Dow, they don't even remotely worry. They're already pushing up to see if they can find some of these spawn kills and leave the scraps down to none other than Frosty picking up time there. And I will admit, Frosty, he is a perfect candidate for House Slytherin, because the man was snaking on pixels to keep himself in that hill, which is unbelievable, but still 8 seconds to work with here. They need break-ons, and they do exactly that. So it won't be ending here, but rotation is in, and you can already see now set up on the next hill here. It is a tough scene on the side of Aerial.
Yeah, I've seen some good comebacks, but there's almost 1% of this happening, and I just don't think it will.
Well, as you said, the 3 go down for Dow. Almost 4 is Raz, the last one to make it happen. The spawns have flipped on out, so into the point we go. Picking up time. Here comes Richie trying to see if he can find a bit more of those spawn kills. And as of right now, Cobbs in the back takes out Mage, and that was a crucial kill. Here comes the pin. Into the point we go. It's just Heroes. He gets taken out. 4 seconds. No one is close unless they can get a contest right.